Good afternoon and thanks for joining us in this edition of 360 Degrees on Canal International. And today we are talking the motorbike sector with the recent ban of the activity here in Douala in neighborhoods like Bonabrizo, Bonanjo and the Bali neighborhoods. We are looking at the consequences of such a ban, and we are looking at the structuring of the sector of motorbikes in Cameroon as a whole. Many have referred to it as a sector with the good, the bad and the ugly, given that it has come to relieve some neighborhoods with transportation difficulties. But then issues of insecurity, issues of disorder in town have been equally attributed to commercial motorbike riders. So we shall be looking at all that in this segment of the program. If you are just joining us, this is 360 Degrees, and we have personalities in the studio, stakeholders, as well as opinion leaders that we shall be getting as we get into the discussions proper. Do not move a muscle, stay with us. You're welcome back, and like I told you, I have four gentlemen here in the studio that we shall be discussing for the next 1 hour. Without any waste of time, we would like to go straight to welcome them. Let me begin from my left, where I have Mr. TAJU Godwin Taju. Did I get the name well? Yes, Mr. Taju is a commercial motorbike rider, and is equally the Littoral Regional President of Autonomous Syndicates of Urban and Interurban Transporters in Cameroon. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, and by him is his colleague as well, ISSA KARBIROUH, who is the National President of Cameroon Commercial Motorbikes Trade Union. KARBIROUH, you're welcome. Just to indicate that you'll be getting more of French from KARBIROUH with the position he occupies. We had no option than bringing him because he has a lot of things to tell us. So we'll manage to understand him when the time comes when he'll be speaking in French. By my right, finally he's here. I've tried several times to have him, but today he said whatever the case, he has to be here. I'm talking about Apostle AMBE Valentine. You're welcome, sir. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Yeah, good afternoon to the viewers, good afternoon myself, good afternoon co-panelists. It's always a joy to be on air to communicate our views on issues burning in our nation. Today we are talking about bike riders across the length and breadth of our nation, Cameroon, particularly in the city of Douala.
Thank you so much. And by me, I have a senior colleague. He has been here before. He's here again to communion with us on the topic of today. I'm talking about WANDUM Augustine. You're welcome, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon to Mr. Chia. Of course, good afternoon to the learned gentlemen on this panel. I think it's a kind of a renewed contract because severally I have not been able to make it because of job exigencies. We thank God that I'm here today and having been on the panel with Prophet Ambe. He launched a wonderful book in the city of Douala, and I was privileged to be part of that book. For the very first time, I will see a man of God, a pastor coming from a Pentecostal background. I mean, launching a book that is dealing with, societal issues, particularly, spirituality and politicking. spirituality and politicking, issues that, you know, his peers shy away from it. I don't think that they are myopic. I just want to think that when you are knowledgeable, you deliver.
Sure. And I will not equally go without congratulating you. You just got an award, a recognition from the Pope.
That's right.
During the Feast of Assumption.
That's right. Thank you so much. I was so, you know, so elated and humbled, because I had never thought that I was watched. I never thought people, see what I do. Yeah. I could not even imagine that my own, the church's hierarchy of the Universal Church could give me such an award. I almost dropped in the church that day, because I have no iota, yes, not even an idea that such a thing is going to happen. So when my parish priest, the Reverend Father Jean-Luc Atebam-Vondo, started reading the criteria, I was one that was marveling. Who is going to be this this very blessed Son of God? And when my name was pronounced, I said, God is not man.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. We shall be coming back here, but permit me to take some of the few news-making events that we had this week. A lot of things happened, but we'll just take a few before we come back to dive into our discussions proper.
It has been another sad day in Bamenda this Holy Thursday following an attack on a fuel filling station, during which 6 township taxis were set ablaze. The incident took place some meters away from where the first taxi was burnt at the beginning of the separatist-led campaign for taxis to change the yellow color. Residents of the neighborhood say the assailant fired several gunning shots before setting fire on the yellow vehicles parked there at the end of the day of work. After their disappearance, some courageous persons came out to help fight the flames, while owners of the cars had only their eyes to cry. Most yellow taxis were seen grounded this Thursday morning in protest against the action of the non-state actors.
This is a section of the recently completed Bonepupa-Yabasi Road. The road collapsed early this morning, August 14, 2024, around 4:30 a.m. in Bapute, a neighborhood of Bonepupa 2 village. This lady explains there was already signs of cracks on the road that dates 3 months.
Entrée du champ, à ma droite, j'ai trouvé la route un peu fendue. Jusqu'à que j'ai même posé la question aux enfants si la route s'y mettra long.
Eyewitnesses reported that a municipal pickup truck from Yabasi was engulfed by the collapse.
C'est très lamentable pour les populations, y compris nous les autorités.
The Bonepupa-Yabasi Road, which is a key segment of the regional road network spanning 51.3 kilometers, was constructed at a cost of approximately 39 billion francs CFA by Burns, a Cameroonian construction company with headquarters in Yaoundé. The governor of the Littoral Region was among the officials that reacted promptly. First measure, he bans the circulation of heavy-duty truck on the road.
Government have already taken some measures because the engines are already coming to intervene at this place. But before that, we have an emergency case to make the small vehicle to pass, while the trucks will wait a bit.
The governor equally ordered the urgent commencement of intensive rehabilitation work on the damaged road which serves the Cam locality.
This incident can also foresee what can happen even at the junction of Douala to Bonepupa, because there are many valleys that can also hinder the construction of the roads.
To ease the ongoing work and reduce pressure in the area, only light vehicles will be permitted to use the temporary bypass on the opposite sides of the collapse. Meantime, an administrative and technical investigation is on the way to determine responsibility for the incident.
The roads of Douala have become a notorious stretch of road synonymous with traffic congestion and vehicle damage. The road's deplorable state punctuated by potholes and craters, has rendered it nearly impassable, forcing motorists to navigate through sidewalks and pedestrians to compete for space. These roads are not just worth it. We find ourselves every day in garage. These companies in charge of the construction of roads should equally take note of canalization of the gutters. During peak hours, the situation spirals out of control, with traffic jams stretching for kilometers and commuters struggling to cope. The Bedi Market area has become a particularly troublesome spot where vehicles are swallowed by gaping dips in the road. When there is traffic congestion coupled with bad roads, it really pushes vehicles to move at a very slow pace. At times, it creates accidents. This disastrous state of urban roads is not unique to this axis, but has become a common feature across Douala cityscape. Residents are fed up with the constant struggle to navigate these hazardous roads, calling on authorities to take action to repair and maintain the infrastructure. Imagine with the bad roads and traffic, if an ambulance have to get somewhere, it will really be difficult. The state has to see into this. The situation demands urgent attention to prevent further damage to vehicles, protect commuters' safety, and restores the city's transportation network to its glory. In a bid to curb rising insecurity, the Senior Divisional Officer for Vuri Division has imposed a ban on motorbike circulation in the Bonap Réseaux, Bali and Bonanjo neighborhoods in Douala. This is just a drop in the ocean. Motorbikes are not the only security threat. What about the gangs and thieves who operate on foot and in cars? The decision outlined in a decree signed on August 13, 2024 comes after a man was fatally stabbed by aggressors on a motorbike. While some residents appreciate the initiative, hoping it will be extended to other neighborhoods, others express skepticism about its impact on securing the city. It's a good initiative, but what about other neighborhoods like Makia and Newbel? The measure has to be extended to those areas too. Despite the mixed reactions, the authorities remain committed to exploring measures to enhance public safety. This will disturb a lot of us who are used to boarding bikes. Taking a taxi is already difficult. Imagine us without these bikes. Only time will tell if this approach will yield the desired results and make Douala streets safer for its residents.
You're welcome back. Apostle Ambe, let me just begin with you. We go straight to our talking point of today. What picture will you paint of the motorbike sector in Cameroon as a whole?
Yeah, everything that has a good, has a bad, and has an ugly. We are not going to emphasize on the evils of the motorbike, and we are not going to put the horse before the cart. The issue is, let's find out what has caused the proliferation of bikes in the whole city of Douala and other parts of the nation. You will realize that there are many people who are riding bikes not because they intend riding bikes. Something pushed them into bike riding. And bike riding has become like a source of livelihood because people don't want to do evil. And people hang on bike riding as a means to sustain themselves and their families. And so if we keep banning the bikes from operating, we are definitely setting people back to go to where they were supposed to be, and bike brought them out of those cycles. So you realize that joblessness is the reason why most people are riding bikes in our city. There are degree holders, master's degree holders, and even doctors with bikes on the streets riding to sustain their families. And you realize that because of that, theft, banditism, all kinds of things have reduced because that bike has become a source of employment. I can tell you that if the government employs 350,000 Cameroonians in the civil service, bike employs at least 1 million Cameroonians. That is a sector in the nation that has brought employment without the aid of the government. Because if you check the number of bike riders in our nation within the 10 regions of this country, they cover more than the amount of manpower the government employs both in the public and the private sector. So you discover that it has also helped in one way in easing transportation, because in congested cities like Douala, bike has paved the way for people to arrive at their destination faster. I talk as somebody who drives a car in this city. Sometimes our cars are stuck in the traffic. You're left with no chance to park it and pick a bike that can be able to help you facilitate things. And you know, time is money. And the bike also have helped to buy time with most business people in the city. They also have their shortcomings. The shortcomings that the bike also have is that the bikes are supposed to be coordinated by the council. But the council has gone behind the bikes to make money, not to even coordinate the bikes. Because I think that if the councils were doing their job properly, I think definitely the bikes would have been properly controlled. It's not today they ban bikes from going to Bonapriso or Bonanjo. It's an old thing. I don't know what the SDO did by signing this one now, because bikes have not been going to Bonanjo. If I'm right, bike riders will tell me they have not been going to Bonapriso. So what did they do now by signing that they don't want to see bikes in Bonapriso and Bonanjo? It's an old news. Bikes are not going that way. The bikes are circulating in other parts of the city. The damage that these bikes have caused in the city of Douala and other parts of the nation, they are enormous. But like I said earlier, we must judge the pros and the cons. We don't have to judge on one side.
Thank you so much. Augustine, let us look at Douala and Yaoundé particularly.
That's
because, without any official statistics, we can say that Douala harbors the highest number of
bike riders.
So how do you view the activity in towns like this?
I want to first and foremost say that how did this commercial motorbike emerge to be a major transport means for Cameroonians? First, our road network we don't have, which make it practically impossible for taxis to be a major means of transportation. Like Prophet Ambe was just saying, for instance, if I'm going to my job site, I work in Aqua at the cathedral. If I leave my home to present 7 a.m. news, if I leave my home at 6 a.m., at one moment, if I get into a taxi, I'll be late. Because the bumpy nature of the road, the dense traffic nature of the city will not permit me arrive early, even if I'm in my private car. That's why some Cameroonians do not even desire to have cars now, because
especially for a place like Douala.
In the city of Douala. But the only option is to pick a bike that will facilitate you arrive on time. Though at one moment very unsafe. Because the problem, I want to come here to say that the bike sector, because government had already proclaimed the bike sector as an informal sector
in Cameroon.
In Cameroon, the head of state addressed them, recognized them, and I thought that the authorities, civil administrator would have come to the sector, regulate it, in order to give the opportunity for these Cameroonians who have decided that no, we are not going to go. We're not going to go idle, because an idle mind is the devil's workshop. We're not going to go jubilant. We're going to be responsible. But then what I discover is that when they talk about regulating the bike sector, it was anarchical. Because the authorities come in, they put in place those who are called syndicates. The syndicates leaders become,
they're answerable to the authorities.
They become auxiliaries
to the authorities.
Fetching money, robbing their other
businesses,
robbing their other bike colleagues to please those in offices, and then those who are paying this money, they become traumatized. They are mad. At the same time, who is a biker? That is even the fundamental question. Who is a biker? Just everybody is in the sector. We don't know where he is coming from. All is that you just get a guy on a motorbike. They don't know whether he master even the traffic lights or not. When the traffic is asking that stop, they are the one crossing. So today I am saying that the anarchy within the bike sector is blamed to the authorities.
Okay.
Because they have not regulated the sector to make it productive as it was supposed to be.
Thank you so much. Godwin, for how long have you been in the sector, and what will you make of the picture they are trying to paint of the bike sector?
Well, for the start, I will thank you. Thank all of you. And I would say in the bike sector, I've been for almost about 14 to 15 years in the bike sector. Yes, and seriously speaking, what he's trying to say is really true. The main issue here really is who is a bike rider.
Yeah.
Anybody just get up one morning, goes to the market, buys a bike and start riding. He's
Get
a
to
bike.
one field in the quarter, learn how to manipulate
he's a bike
the thing.
rider, which is not right. Here, I'm talking as a syndicate.
Yes.
I'm talking as a president. I'm talking as a regional president in Douala concerning the bike sector. Okay. So a bike car or a biker is someone just the same as we call bensikiner in Douala. Is someone who takes people from point A to point B and makes sure that they get to their various destinations safely. But today, we are found in a mixed situation where when we come to syndicate, we say we want to identify each
bike rider
by giving them a uniform with a number and a syndicate which is being attached to what we call here in Douala Choisir. Those are the people we recognize like bike riders, which are identified at any time of the day. But now, when it comes to a point where maybe they start like, it has been stopped, where we say they don't want controls outside again because maybe it creates a lot of disturbances in town, urban yes, as we say. But really, that was the best way because it was easy to identify a bike rider. It was very easy to identify. But today it's difficult. When we see what just happened today, recently in Bonapriso, you can't identify those people.
Yes.
What proof that those guys are bike riders? We have no proof. But we just get on hammering bikers all around town that they are the causes. No. What I would say is the government needs to think and go back into this issue. Call this syndicate, let them sit down and talk. Because you, the government, will not do without the syndicate, and the syndicate will not do without you guys. That's the thing. Thank you.
Okay, I'll be coming back to you. Kabiru, talking about the syndicate, because they are raising a couple of issues here, that people just get into the bike sector, operate the way they want. Now, as a syndicate, how do you, how do you make sure that maybe those that are there are those that are supposed to be there? En tant que syndicat, comment vous travaillez? En fait, c'est ça la question.
Ok. Merci beaucoup pour cette assise ce matin. Un bonjour spécial à mes grands frères qui sont là. Déjà, on doit se poser la question pourquoi chaque fois c'est le problème de moto sur la table.
Oui.
En un seul mot, vous savez, la profession est encadrée par un décret. Au cas où on ne respecte pas ce décret, nous aurons toujours des problèmes. Le décret 2008. Signé par le Premier ministre. Donc le décret en elle-même dit quoi? Tout motoman avant de mise en disposition doit se faire immatriculer, avoir un numéro d'identifiant donné par les mairies compétents. C'est-à-dire les mairies doivent se charger d'identifier les mototaximans qui sont dans leur circonscription. Aujourd'hui, ça ne se fait pas. Mais les étiquettes aujourd'hui, c'est que, à moins de choses, c'est que les syndicats ne font pas le travail. Le décret là, le décret est propre, vous pouvez regarder. Donc si déjà on se focalise dans le décret, le problème de la moto sera résolu dans ce pays. Maintenant, vous savez aussi que le secteur de moto est devenu une métier de s'auto-emploi.
Ouais.
Il suffit que quelqu'un part en retraite et réfléchit d'acheter sa moto, il est en circulation. Et il y a aussi des étrangers, quand ils arrivent ici, la première des choses, c'est d'avoir une moto. Pourtant, en réalité, la profession de Benskin est réservée aux nationalistes. Ça veut dire que c'est purement les Camerounais qui devaient faire la moto. Mais aujourd'hui, on ne les respecte pas.
No, those who are coming out, if they could succumb to the rules and regulations, there's nothing bad in them doing it.
Je sais pas si...
Non, ils sont en train de dire que bon, même si ce sont les étrangers, si ils s'adaptent aux règles de ce qui est mis en place.
Chaque pays a ses règles et ses lois. Il y a des services spécialement pour les Camerounais. C'est-à-dire, le baisse qui est réservé aux nationalistes, même les ventes des sous-vêtements que les gens vendent de gauche à droite, c'est réservé aux nationalistes. C'est un travail purement des Camerounais. Bon, comme on disait, il faut qu'on respecte le décret. Aujourd'hui, il y a trop de malgames. Il y a trop de manipulation dans le secteur des motos. C'est-à-dire, il suffit que chaque autorité se lève, il prend une décision, c'est respecté. Vous êtes ignoré puisque le nez actuel, c'est la décision du préfet. Je m'interroge à savoir si le préfet ne savait pas que cette décision existait depuis. Pourquoi c'est quand il y a toujours mort d'homme que l'autorité se lève pour prendre les décisions? Les décisions doivent être respectées. C'est-à-dire c'est un truc qui date depuis.
Oui.
Ça date depuis, c'est-à-dire on doit respecter. C'est pas parce qu'on a tué quelqu'un. Nous aussi, nos membres, on tue tous les jours. Qu'est-ce qu'on fait d'eux? C'est la question qu'on doit se poser. Il ne peut pas passer une journée sans qu'on a tué un moto-taximan. Maintenant, le problème vient d'où? C'est parce qu'on ne connaît pas qui fait quoi, qui fait la moto, qui ne fait pas la moto. Tout le monde sont assis sur les motos. Ils se disent les motomans, pourtant ils ne sont pas les moto-taximans.
Thank you so much for coming back to you. Let us maybe remain with the ban. How does it affect you as motorbike riders?
The ban actually, it affects me in the sense of which, you see, when you're being banned to go to places like Bonapriso, Bali, well, we can say Bonanjo is
it's an administrative area.
We understand that. It's just because you find yourself that you have a customer or you have somebody picks you up maybe from Omispo. I'm going to Bali. I'm going to Bonapriso. And you say, no, I can't go there. Why? It's restricted. You can't go there. If I go there and a policeman gets me, I need to pay 25,000 francs. When you pay 25,000, you don't have anything being signed or a ticket written somewhere. This guy is paying 25,000.
You just give to an individual who
you just say an individual
as the agent of the council.
In the name of the council. At times, even somebody with the uniform, gendarme, police. Hey, arrêtez-vous. This is. You need to pay 25,000 francs. So it's really, like we can say, it doesn't really touch you as a driver, a bike rider particularly, but it touches those in use of the bike riders, like the customers we carry. Yes, just as he said here, he's going to work to Bonanjo. He needs to take a taxi to Bonanjo because he needs to start work at 7 o'clock, 7:30. He can't cope with. He needs to take a bike. He needs to take a bike, and when you take a bike, you're forced to drop him at the cathedral. You won't get into Bonanjo, or if he's going to Bonapriso, you won't get to Bonapriso.
Apostle, how has the motorbike culture influence the behavior of Cameroonian youths? Because we have this fundamental problem. Many say that once somebody gets into the sector, the behavior automatically changes. Yes.
Yeah, that's true. I have used that statement severally, and I can bear witness to the fact that it is very, very common with bike riders. Like I said, I can be talking with Hyncenth now. As soon as Hyncenth becomes a bike rider, his attitude changes. This is because there is a notion the bike riders have in the society. They believe they're the ones who have the route. They are never wrong. And I think that has to do with their orientation. They have an impression that they are totally always right. And somebody has to school them. This is because those who drive taxis, they go to a driving school.
Yes.
Those who drive trailers, they go to a driving school. All kinds of driver's license are in this country, including bike driver's license.
Yes.
The bike riders are the only persons who go to no school to become bike riders. At least the taximan has been cultured because he goes through a a theoretical as well as a practical session. He's educated on how to operate the road signs and to respect the authorities of the road. He also knows security distance from one vehicle to another. I'm talking as somebody who was trained drivers in a driving school. Now, a bike rider was not passed through any academy for orientation, both practically and mentally. So people who just jump from backgrounds, they have attitude problem, they enter that sector. Number two, the bike riders are very unanimous. In such a way that if you touch a single biker,
the aspect of solidarity.
Yes, you touch all the bikers. They will not come to find out what their colleague has done. They will just come to fight because they feel like they are the marginalized in the society. Everybody who is riding bike feels like they look low on them. So definitely they want to defend that ego that they are not the least people in the society. So even when they are wrong, they seem to defend anybody who is wrong, which is a big problem. This is because nobody sat them down to teach them that when you go to the street, this is how you react towards people. This is how you behave when you are riding on the highway. This is how you behave when you are riding in the society. You have to respect people. You have to respect the signs of the road. Most of them don't even know the signs of the road. There are many signs of the road I learned as a doctor in the driving school. I learned them there. No matter how educated you are, if you go to a driving school, you will know you know nothing. I learned all those signs on the road through a driving school, and the person who was my instructor was not even educated as I am. So the ignorance of the road signs also influenced their behavior. And these are some of the things we need to emphasize on to make sure that we set up a training sector for bike riders, since it's a commercial sector that generates income in the nation. Government eats from bike riders, so government has to invest training centers for bike riders to be trained, because money that bike generates in this country per annum, some sectors that we value do not generate that kind of income in this country.
Yeah, I see you nodding your head, but let me come back to him.
That's right.
Because he raised some key issues about ignorance on the road. Je voulais savoir, M. Karbirouh, pourquoi plusieurs motomans ne respectent pas le feu?
Ok. Vraiment, s'il faut parler de manière générale, ce n'est pas seulement les mototaximans qui ne respectent pas le feu. Même les institutions qui nous incarnent aussi, parfois à un moment donné, ils violent aussi. Mais dans les normes, le mototaximan doit respecter le feu.
Normalement.
C'est quand peut-être la police qui est chargée de veiller sur la circulation, tant qu'ils ne sont pas rigoureux, les gars vont tout violer. Et de deux, s'il faut que le mototaximan soit respecté, on doit traquer tous les gens qui les vendent les drogues, parce que c'est l'excès de, ce sont les drogues qui prennent, qui les induisent en erreur.
Yeah, correct.
C'est-à-dire, quand ils prennent leur rouge là, ça les amène à... Ils voient la rouge, c'est comme l'axe lourd. Mais nos forces de maintien de l'ordre savent là où tous ces gens-là se retrouvent. Il faut qu'on les traque pour que les gars soient consciemment, pour qu'ils aient l'éducation, des responsabilités. Donc voilà ce qu'il faut faire vraiment. Maintenant, il faut un travail de fond, la sensibilisation. C'est là que notre rôle, nous le faisons. Nous organisons des séminaires. Vous savez aussi que le syndicat n'a pas un budget. C'est-à-dire on fait avec notre moyen de bord d'organiser les campagnes de sensibilisation, des campagnes de formation, les éduquer vraiment, pas d'excès de vitesse. Quand vous faites comme ça, voilà. Mais à un moment donné, quand on ne fait pas et que les autorités ne prennent pas cette responsabilité en main, rien ne va marcher. Et vous savez bien que la plupart des gens qui violent le feu, ce ne sont pas nos frères. C'est nos frères, c'est les étrangers. Moi, je vais m'attendre, c'est nos frères, c'est les étrangers. Parce que quand ils sortent, non seulement ils ont la pression de verser la recette par jour, ça veut dire du coup, il est pris.
Non.
I want to tell Karbirouh, is Karbirouh right?
Yes, ISSA KARBIROUH.
Mais je ne suis pas d'accord. Non, on est dans une planète aujourd'hui. On ne peut pas dire que les étrangers ne doivent pas se sentir à l'aise chez nous. Non, le problème ce n'est pas que ce sont des étrangers. Tu avais touché le point focal. Je voulais demander à vous. Yes, I wanted to ask my friend, why is it that bike riders, commercial motorbike riders, they believe that if they do not drug themselves, because that is the fundamental.
Yeah.
I'm asking even the forces sense of law and order. Because when I was doing an investigation, I found that in every juncture, you find a crowd of bikers. I used to think that they are taking tea. Somebody told me one day that they are just taking the case of tea. It's not actually tea. But I said, but are the authorities not aware that is a depot for drug consumption? Because the behavioral attitude in bike riders stem from the fact that if they don't take stimulant,
they cannot.
No, they don't think they can ride well, which is a potential danger to a country. Because like Doctor said here, the bike sector have millions of Cameroonians.
That's true.
And it's a potential danger if the authorities will allow them to be drug addicts.
That's true.
Because they want to, because when they drugged, they become tipsy, they become agitated.
Most life are at stake.
And they drive at the terrific speed.
They see a truck like a fly.
In fact, he gave a vivid description that they will not think that there's anybody on the road. They are the masters of the road. And that is why you get them killing people, dying, on the roadside. And when they want to talk about crime wave in relation to bike riders, it is anarchical. It is anarchical. In as much as there are Cameroonians who are living out of this sector and their family heads. My take here is that government have to step in and regulate the sector. Not only getting interested, the mayors only getting interested of the revenues that come to them.
It has to be.
You find bike riders in a free-for-all fight with the police, with council police. It's time that the powers that be, because like they talk about the prohibition of circulation of motorbikes in Bunanjo, Bali, and Monapriso. This is a long time measure that was even taken by the then senior divisional officer for Vuri. That is Bernard Okalagilai, who is actually the governor of the Southwest region. But he hit a rock. The measures did not pay off. Why? Because it became selective. It was not unanimous.
Yeah, the council agents, they see some people as those who can pass, then they see others as those
and
who
some
cannot.
who will give them tips and they pass. Those who cannot, they are impounded.
Every rule in our nation is an opportunity for us to make money.
Godwin, since he's talking about the council, I want to understand, maybe if an ordinary bike rider may not have a clear answer to give, but you as a trade union, how do you collaborate with the councils, the different councils in place?
Okay, when it comes to this council police council police workers and bike riders, we have this system which we know is the system of which when you are found in a syndicate, somebody with a choisi wearing a uniform that indicates he is a bike rider under a syndicate, you say it's a different case with somebody who hasn't got the choisi on him. So you with the choisi, you may pass. Regarding it is easy to recognize you. Meanwhile, you who is not wearing, you might not have the opportunity to pass the same way as the person with the uniform who is identified, because you are not identified. That's the thing.
Okay, the question I wish to ask.
Now, there is one fundamental problem. Some buy the choisi, they decide to tie it somewhere around their bike, which...
Okay, those are the people which we talk, as my colleague here, Mr. Karbirouh was saying. These people that they take these drugs, they feel, because we also have those problems with them. Controlling those people, in short, controlling in the bike sector to make them really follow the rules and regulations is not really that easy. It also gives us trouble. We also feel the pains. Because You have a group of people, 50, 60, 100, 500 people, you have to tell them, don't do this, don't do that. It's not that easy.
But do you guys have a cordial relationship? I mean, you syndicate leaders, do you have a cordial relationship with council workers?
Because the only time,
with the authorities?
because the only time most of us notice is when the council agents are running behind the bikes. Yeah. We begin to understand. We begin to ask ourselves questions. Is it that those that are into the bike sector, they don't have any kind of relationship with the council?
Okay. We in the bike sectors, we have a special relation with the council. Very, very special. We work hand in hand with them. But the problem is not only found on the bike riders. At times you also find it with the council police. Okay, let's take for instance, when you get to Mbopi, the entrance of the brigade, there is a plaque they put, interdit de garer. You move up again. After that zone, you go a little bit up towards where you have that tunnel. Before the tunnel, with that doors being placed, there's another place they keep interdit à partir de là pour ici. Now the thing is this: someone might be coming, not at times even a bike rider, but somebody passing, but being on a bike, and he stops. You, the police or the council police, when you come closer, I think the best thing is to tell him they don't park here. So you remove your bike, you go ahead. But automatically when you drop, they come on you. Somebody will just grab you.
Yes.
They don't want to know whether you were answering a call or in short, they don't want to know anything.
This is because laws in Cameroon were not set to direct people to make people victims.
Good. So as you see, we have a good collaboration with them, but just that some of them on the field too don't really follow the laws and regulations being given to them too by
and
the
Prof. Ambe, you look at, it's possible in Douala to pick a bike rider from Yassa to Bonaberi.
Yes.
If you pay well.
Yes, it's possible.
So is that not another problem, which means that they don't have any limit sphere of influence?
Yeah, that's what the challenge is. They don't have any particular, if you say you are in a syndicate, I think the syndicate that operates around Yassa should work from Yassa to Village.
Yes.
But somebody takes you from Yassa to Bonaberi. Now he has crossed zones and different zones.
The
and
different
the syndicate
divisions
of
within
this zone cannot control because there are different subdivisions in this Douala. So who controls Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, Division 4? How is the city partitioned? Who are the ones running it? If somebody crosses his zone to another zone, what penalties are given to such person? Because somebody can leave zone A and go and commit a crime in zone B. Then we'll accuse the bike riders in zone B for being responsible for the crime committed by the bike rider in zone A. That's what we are trying to point out there. And also, if you said the bike riders go to places like Bonanjo because they have numbers on them, was that embargo given because of the location of the environment or because of the number? Because even if you have number, if they said no bike should circulate in Bonanjo, then bike should not go to Bonanjo. If you tell others because you have a number and a choisi on you, you have to go to Bonanjo, then those who don't have is definitely making the very particular decree by the DO or whoever impotent. That's what we are trying to point out here.
Yes. Kabiru, now you are a leader of a syndicate. We have the good seats, we have the bad ones in the sector. You as a leader of the syndicate, how do you, maybe what role do you play so that those bad seats that are staining your name should be fished out? Those who hide behind the motorbike sector to commit crimes. Yes. So, ce qu'on a dit, il y en a qui se cachent derrière ce secteur de moto pour faire des crimes et tout ça. En tant que syndicat, qu'est-ce que vous faites?
Ok, en tant que syndicat, qu'est-ce qu'on fait? Je vous ai dit à l'entente de mes propos que le secteur des mototaximans est encadré par un décret. Et comme j'ai suivi le grand frère dit, chaque mairie doit prendre ses responsabilités avec des syndicats.
Oui.
Parce que dans notre organisation, nous avons des représentants dans chaque arrondissement. Auquel maintenant on doit identifier tous ceux qui font la moto. Du genre que celui qui veut se cacher, on a toutes ces informations, ça veut dire à travers son numéro, d'identifiant de la mairie, on peut déjà savoir que il est sur tel endroit, il vit dans tel endroit. S'il n'est pas propriétaire de la moto, on connaît à qui est son patron. Notre rôle en tant que syndicat, c'est d'encadrer, c'est de sensibiliser et les défendre les droits. Parce que vous êtes sans ignorer que le secteur des motos est tellement tracassé aujourd'hui. C'est tellement tracassé. Auquel il suffit que je sois chef quelque part. Peut-être j'ai ma tenue, je sors de mon il me faut 100 000. J'aligne 10 motos. 10 000. Ignorant que comme ils sont, ils vont donner. Parce qu'ils veulent à tout prix se débarrasser. Par contre, si ils se concentrent à faire ses papiers, je ne pense pas qu'ils pourront encore payer ces sommes d'argent. Parce que sans vous mentir, il y a des gars qui peuvent payer même 100 000 par semaine. C'est-à-dire on l'arrête aujourd'hui, demain on l'arrête, après demain on l'arrête. Il est obligé de payer. Est-ce que là donc c'est dans l'encadrement? Maintenant, nous disons qu'il y a des gens qui sont cachés parce que les motos qu'on interpelle, on envoie dans les commissariats des brigades. Quels sont les mécanismes qu'ils prennent pour savoir qui est le propriétaire de la moto? Parce qu'en réalité, pour connaître un propriétaire de la moto, c'est celui qui dispose d'une carte grise. C'est ça qui est l'acte de naissance de la moto. C'est celui qui a la facture. La facture, les gens font ça partout. Donc il faut déjà que l'État mette sur pied peut-être une commission, rien qu'un contrôle de la carte grise. Vous allez voir que beaucoup de motos vont disparaître en circulation. Parce que, première des choses, il y a des motos qui viennent de manière clandestine, des importateurs clandestins. Il y a aussi d'autres qui roulent là. Donc, ils ont la facture de l'autre côté. Mais quand on l'arrête, on lui demande 25 000, il donne. Donc, voilà l'ensemble de ce qu'il faut faire pour essayer d'abannir tous ceux qui se cachent derrière la moto. Maintenant, un moto-taximan qui refuse de se faire identifier, ce n'est même pas qu'on ne doit même pas le supplier pour se faire identifier.
It should not be optional, yes.
On ne doit pas le supplier. Parce qu'avant d'être moto-taximan, il y a le préalable.
Oui.
Tu dois te faire identifier en mairie. Tu dois avoir la licence S2. Tu dois être inscrit au registre du commerce. Tu dois avoir un numéro d'identifiant de la mairie. Tu dois avoir un chasuble. Et ce chasuble, c'est la mairie qui vous octroie. Là, maintenant, tu deviens moto-taximan. Maintenant, pour être sur la voie publique, tu dois avoir 2 casques. La moto doit être ça doit avoir la peinture jaune. Avoir des rétroviseurs aujourd'hui, quelqu'un achète la moto aujourd'hui, tout à l'heure, directement il a enlevé tout ça. Pourtant, c'est normal que tous ces accessoires soient sur la moto.
Okay, we have many messages here, but let me just take this one coming from somebody in Gaundere who says, motorbike riders in Gaundere respect traffic light. So I think it should be a message for those in Douala to copy. Right. Yes, Augustine, the sector is growing because
it's an integral part of the economy.
More motorbike riders coming into the sector, but the irregularities are equally growing.
That's right.
So at this point, how should the government tackle to make sure that the irregularities we have now should not go beyond bounds?
The first problem here is that you see the message coming from Gaundere is saying that they are civilized, they are coordinated, they are disciplined, which bring about culture. I mean cultural behavior, mentality, cultural mentality into the sector, because it varies from one town to another. What is obtained in Douala is not what is obtained in Bamenda. But then Douala happened to be the densely populated city of Cameroon. We are close to about 6 million inhabitants. I am not talking I mean people I stand corrected, but if we want to talk about the last census and how the town has I mean the population growth has evolved, we'll be talking about 6 million inhabitants, and it's cosmopolitan with people coming from all horizons. Government need particular attention, pragmatic action, not to come into the sector for regulating, only looking at what is going to they will gain, but regulating in order to give these Cameroonians who would have been in the public sector, now they have decided and accepted their status to be in this informal sector, which government has declared that is a profession. Because normally bike riding would have been a profession.
It's an integral part of the economy.
Yes, but now it's an integral part of the economy. Therefore, government must take interest to see to it that they regulate the sector for the common good of the bike riders who can put food on their table and become responsible citizens. The sector should not be a place for hideout of criminals.
Ms. Ambe, the government has its role. What should be the role of community leaders in all this to be able to mitigate the negative aspects of bike riding?
You know, power is supposed to be decentralized.
Yes.
Community leaders can only operate as much as the government gives them authority to operate. An individual cannot get up within a neighborhood and say we don't want to see bikes here anymore, except they are empowered by the local authorities of that environment. And I think what they should do first and foremost is to first of all differentiate between those who use bikes for their personal use and those who use bikes for commercial purposes. Correct. This is one other challenge we have, because a lot of persons who use bike to go to their work, to go to their job site, they are being harassed on the road the same way bike riders are being harassed. They are asked to pay the same tax that bike riders. Somebody is not generating income with a bike, but you are asking him to pay the tax that somebody generating income with the bike.
Some agents maybe taking these ladies' bikes.
Yes, they arrest them on the road. And also they are unable to differentiate between who is making money out of it. It's like you are attacking somebody who is driving a private car to pay cateros, which is meant for taxi drivers that are circulating in the city who are generating income. So within the ambits of this discussion, we have to differentiate between private bike riders and those who are commercial bike riders. That's the first thing government has to do. I think private bike riders should be given a particular identification by the council, so that by the time you come out, you present your card, they will know that you are not working, you are not making money out of this bike. That will give you respect, because a lot of people are being embarrassed every day on the road. Secondly, community leaders, coming to your question now, what can community leaders do to control the influence of bikes in particular neighborhoods? It's simple as ABC. The syndicates that work must work with each particular chef de block and chef de quartier. Because if you go to particular neighborhood, you will see a particular T-junction. You will see many bike riders there. Nobody knows where they are coming from. Nobody knows the syndicate that is operating with them. And this thing is because we have not taken the bike riding sector as an integral part of the economy. We have not given it the attention we give to multinationals. We have not given the attention we give to private this thing. We fail to understand that if you want to go and do an annual statistics, the amount of money that bikes generate in this nation per year is even more than some of those big names we are talking about. Secondly, the number of persons that the bike sector employs in this nation is higher. People may think that civil servants are many. The capacity that Cameroon government has to employ civil servants highest is 350,000. But if you go through the 10 regions of this country, you have more than 3 million bike riders, which means bike riding is employing many people than government, employing many people than CDC, and most of the companies we have around. And these people that the bike riding sector is employing are not illiterate. Let's not mistake this thing for being being illiterate. There are degree holders there.
That's true.
Because they couldn't find people in the civil service, the public sector, the private sector.
Just secure to what you are saying, let me take this message. Salam to all of you. Honestly, talking about motorcycle men, most of them are under 30 years, so they are young and desperate just because they thought obviously we get work after school.
Yes,
but they didn't get. So the real matter is from school programs. Teach how to invest, and you will see the change into the next generation.
Exactly what I'm trying to point out here. There's a crack in our educational system, in our curriculum, because people go to school, study what they have nothing to offer in the market. I've told my children, don't study your passion, study what is demanded in the market. You can be passionate over rubbish. That's the truth. So that's the reason I have many bike riders. Somebody says, I have a degree. Degree in what? In sociology? Degree in what? In psychology? What do we do with such degrees in this nation? And this is the reason why you see many people are riding bikes here and there. And as a matter of fact, we use it as a source of consolation. let them find their means of livelihood there.
Yeah.
And the government should see it as an industry, because bike riding is an industry in this country that must be given the attention the same way we give to alcohol in this country. The same attention we give to cigarettes in this country.
Yeah.
The same attention we give to other industries in this country. Bike riding is an industry. People build houses on bike riding. They build houses from bike riding. They marry men from bike riding. They send their children to school from bike riding.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if we don't see it first as an integral part of the economy and as a means of boosting of the financial state of the nation, then we are going to treat it with a lot of levity. It should be given absolute attention.
Yes, I think that absolute attention first and foremost, because today they attribute every crime in the city
To the bike riders.
to the bike rider, meaning that it's
Which
a
is not true.
potential, which is, well, we cannot say for certain that is not true. I'm not accusing them. I'm saying that the powers that be, before accusing them, if they were given proper attention, if they were regulated,
Yes.
if they were given even training, because they needed to be given,
what I said.
yes, they needed to be given training. I mean, given the opportunity to go to free driving schools and know the signs of the road signs,
Yes.
Yeah.
but they are not giving. Now, if they are not doing this, they talked about education. Somebody talked here about the educational system. If a nation will stand up to say, oh, we are a secular nation, they drop out, they scrapped out, religion from the school syllabus. His eminent Christian cardinal to me I don't call him blessed memory, he's the venerated, okay, because he's greeting us from his heavenly window. I said that educating a child without morals is educating a clever devil. So our schools will continuously graduating people with no morals.
Thank you.
When they go to the bike sector, they are now entangled with drugs, as Karbirouh is saying. What becomes of them? So it's a sector that government must pay
attention. Absolute attention.
Absolute attention. Thank you so much. We will not leave without talking about the personal security of the bike riders. Are you aware that a bike is made to carry at most two people, the rider and a passenger? But how comes you guys at times you find yourself four on a bike?
Yeah,
and one man wears helmet.
Yeah,
Yes.
I understand that. The thing we have actually is, let's say today we have a liter of petrol. I think it's 840.
830.
830. That's a liter of petrol today in our country. Somebody leaves from Bepanda to Marché Central.
Yes.
He or she has 250 francs. What do you say?
Yeah.
No, maman. Going to Marché Central is 500 francs. Non, j'ai 250. J'ai 300.
You have to dump.
Mais tu peux bâcher.
Yeah.
She's the one proposing.
She's the one. You're not the one. She's the one proposing you. She's the one telling you. Tu peux bâcher. That's from Bepanda, right? Tu peux bâcher.
Yeah.
What do? You find it's not easy to carry 300 francs from Bepanda, let's say Bepanda Tonnerre, right up to Marché Central. So what do? You have to bâcher. At least when you carry the second person, that's 600 francs. It's a little bit more.
So it's for economic reasons.
It's for economic reasons.
But you that is riding, in case of an obstacle.
True. You that riding, you find it is risky. Yes, but when we say
it's worth the risk,
it is worth the risk because we haven't got no choice. It's worth the risk.
Si tu vois 10 motomans par exemple, tu ne peux pas voir peut-être 2 avec les casques. Ça c'est sûr, ici à Douala. Et si tu vois 10 motomans, tu ne peux pas voir 9 avec le rétroviseur sur la moto. Les gens achètent les motos, ils enlèvent le rétroviseur, ils mettent à la maison. Est-ce que l'aspect sécurité, est-ce que ça ne vous affecte pas?
Bon, l'aspect sécurité, ça nous affecte. Parce que je vais dire que c'est dans l'ignorance. Parce que les deux rétroviseurs nous servent à voir ce qui vient derrière.
Oui.
Le casque nous protège si déjà on se retrouve au sol. C'est l'ensemble de tout ça qu'il faut qu'on essaye de mettre sur pied pour les obliger à cela. Et c'est bien vrai, ils ont des prétextes que la ville de Douala chauffe, il y a la chaleur, il y a ceci. Mais c'est très important. Nous passons le temps à leur dire que c'est très important.
Okay. Yes. Briefly, please.
During your meetings, do you actually talk? Because there's another phenomenon with the bike rider. They like insulting people too much. Il aime des insultes.
So,
insulte que le maman des gens.
anyway, Augustine, we shall have more time to talk about that. We want to believe that the bike riders that were listening to us today, at least they got something that can change their attitudes. We are sorry, time is not on our side. The rebroadcast of this program is on Wednesday at 11 p.m. So if you miss out on anything, don't hesitate to get the rebroadcast. Until we meet again next Saturday at 12:30, do stay blessed. Bye-bye.